All right. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you might be. Good to have you here. Really excited to have a short conversation this morning with a good friend, someone who I've come to rely on and appreciate in the last couple of months. Actually, I'll push this picture back up there so you can see him before I bring his real picture up. I have George Rogers here with me this morning. We're actually going to talk about an upcoming event we're working together on that I'm very excited about. So let's bring George up, the real George, not the picture George. All right, there you go. All right. Glad to have you here, sir. Good to be here.
I'm excited to join you, and I'm excited about this open forum that we've been working on for the last couple of weeks.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. So just to give the audience kind of a clue on this, George and I will be doing, we're talking today. We'll be talking the same time next week, just to give you a little preview, because 2 weeks from now, we'll actually be kicking off what is an Antiracism Forum. So it's called Going Beyond D&I. We're trying to dig into some of the tough conversations we don't have, because when you look at a lot of the research, a lot of the data, employers do things like diversity training, and it actually doesn't lead to any better outcomes. It doesn't lead to better results because it's not focused on the right things, and it doesn't encourage us to actually connect in a human way. And that's one of the things, again, something I appreciate about George. He's good at connecting in a very human way, something I appreciate about him. But he and I are going to be co-facilitating, co-moderating the conversations. It's going to be a daily sessions. And I don't know about you, George. I can talk about some of the topics, I guess, and then ask you if there's a day that you're most excited about. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, let's discuss some of those.
So day one of the event, we're going to talk about what is anti-racism. Why is it important? Why does it matter? Why should we be having this conversation? Day two, we're going to dig into hiring practices, how to work to, again, not just say, yes, we like diversity, but how to actually change the things we're doing in that way. Day three is going to be on microaggressions, how those work and what we can do about it. Day four will be on mentoring, leadership, growth, how to make sure that the minorities in the companies we're working for actually have ways to move up instead of feeling like they're capped out. And then the last day is going to be about putting it all into action and really building a game plan for taking the ideas from the week and putting them into practice. So some really good coverage there. And I'll let you go first, and I'll tell you which one I'm most excited about, George.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I am excited because I know some of the people that are going to be on these panels and speaking. I'm excited about how it all comes together. I think where we are today, and you're saying here's another forum, here's another live webinar dealing with this stuff. Like, when is it going to be more than just that? So for me, I am, in the words of Marshawn Lynch, football player, I'm all about that action, balls. And so for me, in all honesty, if I had to pick one, I would say the strategies for minority development. I'm huge on coaching. I'm huge on mentoring. I believe it's important to not just know and have wisdom, but it's more important to give it. I believe that's where it flourishes. And so seeing some of those things grow, and then, ultimately, because I'm about action, I think we're at a place now where your words don't mean anything unless your actions are speaking. And so the moment our actions become more powerful than our words, then we can say change is happening. And I think that's what we want to get out of this is we don't want to just talk about it. We want to be about it. And the action plan of this is how we can do things is really what's exciting for me.
I feel like I'm being taught by like a genius in this leadership space, because last week, I'm going to quote you back at yourself. That might be weird for you, but it's not weird for me. So last week we were talking and you said something just kind of in passing, but it stuck with me ever since. I've thought about it every single day. And you said, giving people some food for thought is good. Giving them action for life is better. And that's what I'm really hoping this event helps to bring forth, is not just another, oh, that's interesting, or that's, that's an abstract concept I can sort of identify with, but I'm excited about having a front row seat to this, but I'm also hoping that we can help everybody else that's participating, listening in, to get some of those actions for life.
Yeah, exactly. I think we can all be moved by words, right? We can all say things. There's quotes out there that inspire us and motivate us. And don't get me wrong, I am passionate about helping people move forward, but I'm not here to tickle you or make you smile or make you feel good because of something that is said. that's not going to make a difference. If you're motivated by words, anybody can motivate you. You have to be inspired by action. And I think we have to give more than just that whole food for thought. I want more than just food. I want everything that I've deserved and earned. I want more than just the salad, the appetizer. Give me the steak, but I'm beyond the steak. I'm excited about the dessert, right? I want to, be excited about everything coming together. And I think that's what's important here with everybody that we have coming together with People Strategy, Lighthouse Research. We have AAAHR of Atlanta also joining us in that team there. I'm excited about all these things coming together. It would be a tragedy. It would be a tragedy if we've had all these great men and women of color, not color, white, black, brown, coming together. It'd be a tragedy if we walked away feeling inspired, and that's the outcome. Like, there has to be action.
Yes, absolutely. Well, so one of the things that we haven't talked about is kind of the format for the event. So we're going to have daily panels with experts picked specifically for their expertise in different areas of these different topics we talked about. So the people that we're going to have there talk about on the day around hiring are going to be deeply steeped in how to do this, how to make sure we're pushing people through the process and ensuring that the ways we're making decisions in hiring are not biased and are not leading to negative outcomes for people of color. The people who are sharing on the day, we're talking about microaggressions, are going to have the research to back this stuff up so they can talk about it and really bring that value. And one of the things that we are going to push the speakers, all of our panelists, to commit to is bringing some actionable ideas. Some of those things like George just talked about, where it's really encouraging us to say, this is valuable, but now that you've got this knowledge, here's 2 or 3 things you can personally go and do to try to make an impact in your circle. Can any of us solve the problem entirely? No, absolutely not. But can any of us do what we can do within our own sphere of influence to make things better, to lead to better outcomes? Absolutely. We all have some measure of control in our space. So a couple quick names just to give you some ideas. We have Major Chaveso Cook. He is a doctoral student at Tufts University. His focus is on mentoring and growth and development. He's a major in the U.S. Army, and he brings a unique perspective as a diverse individual, but also just because of these amazing the training he's had and also the education he's had to focus on the mentoring piece and help us to understand that better. And we have Sarah Morgan there. She's actually really focused on making these things actionable and making them stick. She has very little patience. I won't speak for Sarah, but she has very little patience for words, as George is saying. She's very focused on the actions and how do we support these sort of ideas. Ann Tompkinson is one of our panelists. She is an anti-racist coach. And so she helps to take these ideas and helps people on a personal basis to understand how to make them actionable and how to solve these issues and how to understand even your own perspective on this topic and how to lead to some better outcomes there. So I'm so excited. We got a very long list of speakers. I'll go ahead and push this up on the screen so you can see the link here. I'll put it up at the end too. But if you want to join us, participate in this, you want to see this, the cost is absolutely free. All that we ask is that you don't treat it like it's free. You treat it like it's something that's incredibly valuable to you. That you actually pay attention. You soak it in. You encourage your teams to join. One of the ways I talked to someone the other day is I said, hey, this is the one where you invite your leadership team, you invite your managers, all your hiring managers, those people in your business who make people decisions, have them come along with you, and then spend half an hour after the event's over each day, after those 1-hour panels are done, and just have a conversation privately with your team and say, hey, what did we learn today? What are we going to do differently? As George was saying, like, what are we going to actually do versus just, okay, that was great, let's move on.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, this is going to be a 5-day, 1-hour event starting August 24th through the 28th at 2 p.m. Through 3 p.m. That's Central Time. So
3 p. Central, 3 p. Eastern.
Yeah,
so noon for the Pacific folks.
Yep. So yeah, I'm excited. I think this the great thing about this, Ben, is diversity is the open door to the room, right? Diversity gets me in the room. There's phases of this. So I have the diversity. I'm in the room. And inclusion is now I have a voice at the table that's in this room, and I want to get a sense of belonging, especially when we talk about culture in the workplace. We talk about leadership. Leadership, I always say leadership starts with George before it can impact anybody else. Self-leadership is so important. But the sense of belonging is that moment where you have a voice at the table and your voice is heard. And then beyond being heard, action comes together. And I want people to leave. My mindset is when people leave, whether it's 1 day or 2 days or 3 days, 4 days, and we challenge everybody to join us for all 5 days.
Absolutely.
And if you do that, I believe the goal will be to walk away from that table, going back into your place of business, your workplace, put it back in your home life. And create action, create an atmosphere where people feel like they belong. I want to feel like I belong in the room of friends and leaders, not just at the workplace, but just in life in general, where we don't make other people feel uncomfortable with who they are, but we include them. We're intentional about what we do. Ben, we had a call last week. We were just talking. I said, one of the things I asked my white family, being adopted, and my friends is be intentional. When was the last time you were intentionally made an invite for lunch or dinner? I know that we're in this pandemic, but I'll kid you not, when we had the conversation later on that day, I got an invite for lunch, a virtual lunch. And somebody had sent me lunch to my office and set a time. I didn't know that they're sitting there. It was like, hey, you want to have a chat? We're going to have lunch around 12. Let's go virtual. And they had my lunch sent to me. It was a beautiful thing. And so there's when I say there's no excuses, there's no excuses. Get on Grubhub, DoorDash, whichever you want to do, send somebody some lunch and say, hey, let's have a virtual lunch. Let me be intentional about my friendship. I want to know more.
I love that. I'm glad you shared that. I was going to actually ask you to make sure and share that example, because I love that. And that, again, I expect to be uncomfortable at plenty of times through this conversation, because it's encouraging me to grow. Right? A lot of it, you said a minute ago, you can't lead others without leading yourself. One of the other kind of leadership pieces is the organization, the team that I'm leading will never grow beyond the scope of what I'm going to grow. So if I'm not modeling for them, if I'm not learning, if I'm not changing who I am, then I can't expect them to ever start to change who they are and start to grow beyond those boundaries of comfort where we are. So I'm really excited about this. I'm so thankful again to you for saying yes to co-hosting with me, to the team at People Strategy, who were the ones that said, hey, we've got to do something here. This is not just about, we don't want another 1 hour webinar on why diversity is important. They wanted to go deeper and really plumb the depths of this and bring some amazing experts in to share their ideas and perspectives, which I'm thankful for. And then, as you said, NAAHR, the National Association for African Americans in HR, the Atlanta chapter there, Troy and the team, he's the president this year, they've agreed to partner with us on this, and they're just an amazing group of professionals. It's been so much fun to connect with them because they all have day jobs. Like all of us, they're all working and they're volunteering in this organization as well, trying to advance that cause. And it's so exciting to see just their passion for this and how excited they are that we're going to all together try to bring some positive change to the world. So, George, Any last words before we wrap it up, sir?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned 2 words that kind of stick out there, and I know some people are very timid, so I want to elaborate on change and uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Change is a beautiful thing. Change is challenging, don't get me wrong. Sometimes it's uncomfortable, right? It's taking you out of your comfort zone. I want to encourage you to be okay not being okay. It's like it's okay to not be okay and uncomfortable in these type of conversations. But without change, there can be no growth. Without change and putting yourself in a position of being uncomfortable and understanding that George is not always right. Ben is unfortunately not always right. We get that, right? We get that. And so in order for us to get right and be right and live right so we can speak right, we must put ourselves in an uncomfortable position to say, I'm not the smartest person in the room, and that's okay. And so this is a place and a platform for you not to be okay, to come and realize, hey, I don't think like that. I've never thought like that. I've never seen it from that perspective, or I didn't understand it, but now I do. I want to challenge you to come into this event, this forum, getting ready to have your mind change. A changed mind is a live mind, and it's a beautiful thing. And it's okay to be challenged. It's okay to be changed. Change equals growth. Without change, there can be no growth. And so we want to grow here together. and make things better for you and your workplace. And I'm excited about that. That's all I have to say for now.
Awesome. Wonderful. I'm looking forward to talking to you next week too, to dig a little deeper into this and talk about some of the other outcomes and things we're hoping to get out of this. I'll leave the rest of you who are watching this. Again, the link will be up. It was just up at the bottom there. I'll put it up on the end scene here in a cut scene in a second, but I'll just close with this. If you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always gotten. So we want to change, as George said, we've got to think differently. And I can't quote you back this time. I missed what you said. I missed the exact phrase there, but you said something about, a changing mind isn't a live mind. Like, this is what we're wired to do. We're wired to change. We're wired to adapt. And I'm hoping that we together can come together and figure out some ways to adapt and change the way things are, to lead to better outcomes for everybody and more equity for all. So I appreciate you all joining us. I can't wait to see you at the Antiracism Forum. And George, thank you, sir, for your time. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.